Good evening. It's been a few days since I streamed, so let's continue playing with virtual Lego because I didn't really have time. It's been a busy last week or so, and I didn't really have time to prepare for anything else. So we're going to do more virtual Lego today. Um, there's a series that Lego started about 15-20 years ago called Creator, and in this series, the sets in this series come with instructions to build 3 different models with the pieces inside. And in the 2022 iteration of the Creator series, they released a really colorful one that I want to build tonight. So let's go over to the browser. Wrong browser window. All right, so we're going over to the browser, and it looks like the browser is doing that infinite mirror thing that we love so much. So let's go to the correct tab. So in the creator set we're going to build today, it came with instructions for this unicorn, this seahorse, and this peacock duck hybrid thing. So the unicorn is meant to be the primary model, but we're actually going to build the duck, then the seahorse, and then we'll finish with the unicorn. And when I do creator, the primary model, when I do creator sets, when I do creator sets, what I do is I build all 3 of the models and then pose them in the picture for the render. So I make one file that has all 3 models in it. So that's what we're going to do here. So we're going to start with this little duck peacock hybrid thing here, and then we'll move on. And I've already opened up the toolbox of parts. I've already imported the set, so we have a our toolbox is limited to our part list. And you'll notice we have to reset the part list for each model, because the way Creator is designed, you can only build 1 of the 3 models at a time. We need tiles. Alright. There's this thing here. I don't see this piece very often. Even when I did real Lego, that piece hardly ever came up. Hold on. Okay, the phone call is not for me. We had a weird power flicker earlier. We think a car hit a power box or something because the lights went out for like 3 minutes before coming back on, and the wind's not terrible today. We've had far worse wind without any issues, so that's not the right color. That's the color I want. Probably not going to talk too much because I don't really have any news to share or anything. Hoping to do a lightsaber stream soon, but I only have the Generation 1 parts with no plan for a budget for getting the Generation 2 parts. So we may do a Generation 1 throwback. You know, it'd be cool doing kind of a partial reenactment of the Savvy show. That might take some effort to put together, though. I'm not sure if I can actually pull it off. Alright. I just went past the piece I need like twice. So I think I should focus on focusing while building. This first model is going together pretty quickly, though. That's a thing that happens when they only have room to put one step on each page. All right. Well, I've only been streaming for 7.5 minutes, and we're already on the 8th page of the first build. Either I'm getting faster with this, or this first build isn't terribly difficult. I'm okay with the first build not being difficult because there's 2 other builds beyond this one, and one of which is... Alright, let me focus on what I'm doing. You'll notice I'm not saving every step like I used to do. It's just inefficient to do so. But we're going to save at least every model. I'm not totally dumb. You'll also notice in this parts inventory that basic bricks, there's really not a lot of them in these builds. Most of Lego these days is in the more specialized pieces, which is pretty cool because it means there's more detail. Maybe after I have 100, maybe after I've done 100 of these virtual sets, I'll do a stream where I show you my renders and talk about each of the sets. That might be fun, but I don't have enough renders yet for there to be a whole stream's worth. Plus, I want to have more series represented than I already do, so. Now, it's been a few days since I've done a Star Wars one. But yeah, it looks like we're already more than halfway done with the first build. So we're making great time tonight. So far, at least. Oh, cool. This set has these eye tiles that we sometimes see in animal sets. Let's make sure that's centered properly. And we're going to take these bricks, and that's supposed to line up, as far as I can tell, that's supposed to line up perfectly with this. All right. That's looking good. And now we want to go to his underside. And that's It's supposed to be centered. And then this is supposed to attach on like that. And now it looks like we're building a little bit of a leg section. Ducky is looking good so far. Okay, how does this bit line up? Did I line that up properly? I hope I line. Yeah, we're good. That's all lined up properly. Let's bring him back above ground. And now it looks like we're building the tail section. Let's see. These go here. And then we need some tiles. This duck has a pretty tail, almost reminiscent of a peacock. There's no real ducks that are quite like this one. Hmm. Lots of colorful bits that are going to come into prominent effect when we get to the unicorn itself. Yeah, that one's even. All right. Let's do this. Now these are supposed to attach onto this one. Did I line that up correctly? Appears to be so. So let's attach this whole big, beautiful tail. Line up the hinges. And there's the whole model. Let's just pose the tail real quick. One of the cool things I discovered is if you select a hinge piece or a joint, it'll move the whole connected section. So we want to take the tail down a little bit. Yeah, not sure, 30 degrees or 45. Yeah, let's take it down a little more. There we go. That's a good look for a little duck friend. So let's go ahead. We need to return the parts to the part bucket. And now we will merge the parts and take them off to the side for a little bit so we can start on the second friend. And we're going to go ahead and save. This is set 31140. I always save my files on the set ID number. So this guy, we're building up from a little base for him. Okay, there's my 6x4, but I need my half round plate first, and then I can put that on. And now I need the other half of the base. Here's some pieces that we didn't use in the last build. Usually with the creator, the featured build, who gets the biggest picture on the front of the box, uses all the pieces in the set. And then the two alternate builds usually have pieces left over. I say usually because I haven't done a sampling of all the creator sets. I've only done a few of the animal ones, and that's been the trend so far. Is that the first model will pretty much always take every piece. And also I found that when importing the parts lists, the creator sets are much less likely than any other theme to have missing parts that I then have to go and manually add substitutes for. So that's an interesting distinction with this series. Because so far I haven't had to add any parts for any of the creators' stuff I've done off camera. And pretty much every other set I've done, I've had to substitute something. Maybe not architecture. Architecture, like creator, doesn't usually force me to have to do substitute parts. And when it does, it's usually just the name tile. So for that reason, architecture and creator, I've been doing a lot more of in this virtual Lego, just because I don't have to waste as much time looking for comparable replacement parts when importing the part lists. That's when building actual sets, of course. When building custom creations, I have to use the master set list. Just because there is no context for what I'm trying to build when it comes to custom creations, but I haven't really attempted any yet. We will on stream soon. Next couple months, I have something special I want to try and build this spring and summer. Oh, I like this, the use of these aqua-colored tiles to represent water for the base of the seahorse. Where's my curved brick? There it is. All right. All right, there's the base of the seahorse. And I'll come over here, start building him proper. Starting with this 6x2. Oh, what kind of plate is that? Is that a hinge plate? Yes. Is that the piece, though? Yes. You'll notice most of the build is in plates rather than bricks. That's been true for a lot of the sets I've done so far. Though when we get to more building-based ones, then we'll be seeing a lot more bricks as opposed to just plates. The kind of bricks you'll be focusing on using, a lot of it, of course, depends on what you're trying to build and what level of detail you're going for. All right. I can see how the shape is starting to come together. I can kind of tell what's going on here. This looks like another build that's going to go reasonably quickly, which is good because the quicker we get through each of the submodels, the more time we will have available for more. Keep stream running, you know? All right. And I like how we're starting to use some color here. Use of the colored bricks to make details on our little seahorse friend. Oh, I don't think we use this kind of bracket on the duck. No, we use the big bracket. Yeah. Let's focus on what we're doing. We can look more at the duck later. And with the creator animals, there is some posing required before they'll actually look good. But with the duck, it was just the tail. With some of the other animals they've done, they have a lot of joints. And are actually, like with some of the other animals and mecha that they've done throughout Lego, there's a lot of jointed parts. And it's actually full-fledged articulated action figures. which is pretty cool how they can build that out of Lego. What just happened? There we are. Sometimes the camera goes janky when you have things spread out on the field like I do. I like how they do the curves here. This particular gray hinge piece that we've been seeing a lot on this model is one that I don't think I've ever actually encountered this particular configuration in real life. And I've built many real-life Lego sets over the years, just not anything in recent years. Yeah, I know my instructions are off camera. I can't really put the instructions on screen with the studio. I mean, I could, but then neither the studio nor the instructions will look good. So I'd rather you be able to focus where the action is. So it says to build this as a subunit, but it's small enough that I'm just going to build it right on. Alright, which way is... Oh, I'm using the wrong piece. That's why it's not working. That's the piece I want. Well, that's a cool fin piece. And now we're going to turn them around and do the same whole production on the other side. And now it's in a shape that's semi-comparable, well, not exactly, to a certain bounty hunter spaceship from Star Wars The Empire Strikes Back. Although a lot more colorful. It's only a slight resemblance in the shape. And that ship is a lot more colorful. I mean, no. This is a lot more colorful than the ship. Although, that ship is known for two different color schemes depending on which part of the timeline you're in. And both color schemes are really pretty nice arrangements of colors. But this is even more colorful. And enough talking about that ship because the resemblance is going to fade pretty quickly as we add more of the seahorse parts. Let's see, did we use that last? Okay, I'm not sure I'm lining things up correctly here. No, we do use that. Okay. I got confused for a moment there, but no. We do cover that last stud. I like when they're able to use these smooth finish parts on a model to hide the studs so that the finished model looks smooth. That's really cool when they do that. Alright, not sure what this bit is, but we will... This bit we are going to build separately just because I don't know where it's going to go. It's not immediately clear from this picture. Yeah, that's not the that's the piece I want. Now we can go for this other piece that I was looking at before. And it says that it wants to have a tile on it, positioned a certain way. So now I can take this whole thing and attach it there. And now we take this whole unit, stand the thing up, and connect to that hinge there. Alright, I see what we're doing here. And now we have to build the heads. Let's flip it around to the other side, closer to where the head joint's going to be. That's not what I want. That's the one I want. You're going to have problems if you make mistakes with Lego. Because everything's got to be just so in order for everything after it to fit. So now I need to come back to where the brackets are, take this one, well, we're actually almost done with this model. There's only a few pages of instructions left. All right. We're having a special on the stream on Saturday. I can guarantee at least that the Saturday stream is not going to be Lego. I have something special in the works that I've been planning for a few months, actually, given what Saturday represents. So I want to make sure I line this one up correctly, so let's get in there close. Yeah, that looks lined up. And now we take this whole unit and stick it on like that. So it looks like this is where we need to attach to the base plate. All right, let's get this whole unit onto the base. And then we'll pose these hinges and put the finishing touches on the second model. All right. So this hinge, we want to fold this one up a few degrees. Let's see if I can realign him with the ground though. There, he's realigned with the ground. Good. Now if I can, this one I should be able, 210. All right. Now we're going to hinge these wings back a little bit. So starting from 180. We're going to put these at 45 degrees for a clean, dynamic look. And the head needs to angle down a little bit. Not too much on this though. 15 degrees is enough. There we go. That's looking good. And the instructions to give him a little bit of a unicorn horn, like his friend that we'll be building in a moment. And there we have a little unicorn seahorse. As before, we need to throw his parts back into the bucket and then merge him. And we'll place him in the back with our little duck friend. Time to save. Wow. And now for the main event. We're going for the unicorn itself. As a reminder, this is who we're building. When it comes time to arrange the picture, we'll probably put him front and center. All right. Let's get right into it. So we start with the creation of a little base section. With these two round plates. So it looks like the seahorse, we're starting with the base and then building the unicorn itself. Alright, we're making good progress here. This is a very colorful episode of playing with Legos. Sometimes you just gotta have color. But you know what? Let me show you what I worked on others. I want to show you the set I did earlier today. Back in 2021, Lego released a set called Everyone is Awesome, which was kind of their Pride set. I don't know why it's not opening. Is this it? Yeah. So they released this back in 2021. And when I pulled this up in the editor, when I pulled up the parts list, it was only missing 2 of the hairstyles. You'll notice each of the minifigures has a different hairstyle. And this was their big diversity and this is their big diversity awareness set. It's a pretty cool model. You can see there's not a single stud in view. They made the whole surface smooth, colorful. I like this set. So yeah, today was all about colorful sets in terms of the Legos I did today. It only took me about 45 minutes to put this one together because it's a very simple build, just the wall and some minifigures. In fact, from the side you can even tell how the wall. And I like how they covered over so you can't even see the inside of the wall. Everything is just the solid, smooth splash of color. This is a pretty design. Enough spinning. Let's get back to our unicorn here. Or should I say our soon-to-be unicorn. So this is going to be another colorful picture. Alright, that's the base. Set it aside. Let's proceed with our build. I would assume the unicorn's going to be like other Lego animals I've done both on and off stream, where it's going to have a whole bunch of posable joints that I'll have to take care of when setting up the scene for the final image. I'm not actually going to render on stream though. That takes time. I'm going to do the renders because this program does photorealistic renders. So it looks like actual photographs of actual Lego bricks when you do that. But it takes an obscene amount of time to make each image when I do that. So I never do that on stream. Alright, we're going to keep going. Alright, we're going to keep going. Alright, where are we now? We need slope pieces in the front here. Oh. Sometimes with animals, when their limbs aren't terribly difficult, you can kind of do the guesswork and build both limbs at the same time, even when they're supposed to be symmetrical. Other times it's not entirely obvious from the instructions, and it's safer to just do them separately. Now this is the featured build in the set, which means it's probably going to use all the pieces with not much left over, unlike the other two models where we each had a bunch of stuff left over. Alright, that's together. That one's on. And now we need this big, huge piece again. Alright, I see how I'm going to do this. This one I'm just going to build right onto it. You'll notice, as before, as we use up pieces, they're going to disappear from the parts list and make it quicker for us to scroll through it. That's what I meant to do. Alright, that's in position. Yeah. You'll notice we're starting to build the rainbow mane effect. So yeah, Lego's always pretty cool when it does rainbow, because on sets that have rainbow, you can get some pieces in some rare colors when they do that. There's a lot of pieces in this set that aren't really common. Although, to be fair, there are some themes that are really colorful. Like Friends, the Disney princesses. Those themes tend to have a lot of color. And likewise have a lot of pieces in colors that are otherwise not commonly available. You can see how it's vaguely starting to take the shape of a horse. And we're actually at the almost halfway point of this build. Shayna loves unicorns. I'm actually thinking about getting this set in real life just so I could build the unicorn with her and maybe display it in her room or something. In fact, that might be a Shayna stream in the future if I do get the set. Shayna enjoys coming on my show, so we do it occasionally. pink pieces are really rare. I don't think I personally have owned any sets which had any which had a significant number of pink pieces. There may have been a pink piece here or two there in the handful of Friends sets I owned years ago. Alright. Looks like we're doing some tiling here. Alright, how exactly are we doing this? So there's the yellow tile here. There's a matching tile. These things are a pain to orient correctly. And then this tile. Alright, so that's cool. And then he uses this tooth piece as the ear, which I think is a pretty clever use of the shape. And then we come back and get her eye tile. I like how this set is going for a more cartoony look on the characters. A lot of the creator animal sets have a more realistic, tough look on the animals. I did a dinosaur set earlier. I did a couple other sets. And on all of them, the animals have a more realistic design. But on this set, it's cutesy and cartoony, and I kind of like that. It fits the vibe of it having a unicorn. Let's see if I can't point this eye correctly. Oh yeah. She's a cute unicorn already, but totally missing significant chunks of her design, of her build soon. Still, I mean. Alright, so now we're going to come here, and I need this piece. We're going to start a little bit of a subsection here. One thing the creator sets are clever at doing is when you have a build that doesn't necessarily use all the colors, it will use pieces of colors it doesn't use as internal hidden pieces. And that way they don't have to pack as many of the pieces of the colors you actually see. Kind of like what we just did here. This whole section here. Hold on, I forgot a piece because I'm talking too much. I think that's why I forgot a piece. Yep. And then this whole section is going to line up with whites are difficult to work with because you can't really see the piece lines. Did I line that up correctly? Yes, I did. Yep. So the lower part of the body now has some shape. And it looks like we're building some legs. And this one has a big ×2 on it, so I'm just going to build it once and copy paste like I usually do. Okay, I see what we're doing here. We're going to take the hinge piece, line it up properly, and then we're going to take a tile on top of that to make the hoof. There we go. And this whole unit, I'm supposed to have 2 of these. So there, we're going to put them on, and we will pose them later when the instructions tell us to do so. And now we need 2 more, which I assume are going to be back leg pieces. Oh yeah, and we're quickly running out of pieces here. We're going to be done with this very soon. I didn't anticipate this would be such a quick build. So who knows, I might look for another set for us to try on stream if I'm not too tired when we finish this. I do want to, even though I'm not rendering the image yet, I do want to pose for the image so you can at least get an idea of what it looks like all completed. Oh, and these back legs, they definitely look beefier than the front legs do, which is good because it shows that even though it's a cartoony look, they have an, at least that part at least is believable and semi-realistic. Because real horses, their back legs look thicker than their front legs. So let's stand this unit up, copy, and let's get it into the hinge, and another copy of that. Posing still looks a little bit off, but we're going to build a tail and then we'll worry about the posing. We are quickly running out of pieces here, which means we're almost done with the model. So it looks like this one doesn't really have too much posable except the legs. The head certainly isn't posable like it is with other animals. Alright, that's a nice looking tail unit. Let's attach it on here. Let's see, this clip, needs to clip in here. And I'm seeing a collision warning, probably because of the angle we're clipped in at. Let's go ahead and build the unicorn horn, which empties my toolbox of pieces. So now we have to pose her a little bit. Let's see. First, let's angle back the left legs a little bit. Oh, shoot. It doesn't look like the tail unit's even connected. Alright, we'll come back to the unicorn horn because we got to make sure this tail unit is actually even connected before it'll let us do anything. Alright, no collision warnings. That's because we weren't attached properly the first time. Now we'll put the horn back. And now we can try to pose. This is a beautiful set. I'm glad we picked this one to do on stream, because most of my Lego stuff has been off stream, admittedly. Yeah, so now let's take this leg back. These back legs I'm going to put at about like that. And the tail can angle down a little bit. And now I gotta do something with these front legs in order for this to actually look good. Okay. Alright, I want to move this piece. Not sure why it's selecting the whole thing. Yeah, no, that's not the... I might actually have the tail hanging a bit low, but let's fix the front legs before I worry about that. So it looks like this left leg is what I can do is I can turn the whole thing, then reorient it back to the base if I have to. Oh no, it's not. Maybe that's the piece I want to select. That's the angle I'm trying to get at right now. In order for the... I have to do guesswork right here. Let's reorient. Now that actually adjusted both of the front legs. Not what I had in mind. What if I select these together? Then will let me, yeah. So that's 0. So it looks like this front leg is a straight up and down affair, according to this picture here. And yeah, I know I can pick my own angles, but I'm just going to go with what's on the picture in the instructions. It'll be easier for me. So if I pick both of those, then it'll let me take this down. And then I take this one. There's not enough distinction in the angles. I have to take this one down some more. Which means I'm actually not up at correct enough an angle here to begin with. Let's open up this angle a little bit more. Recentered. And now this angle. Alright. That doesn't look right either. Alright, I like that original angle we had for the legs. But in order to get more clearance up here, let's reset these to where they were. In order to get more clearance for those up there, I need to take the whole body up some more. Yeah, now I should be able to work with what I've got here. The tail needs to come up some more as well. That's too even with the body. It looks more dynamic and organic if I have it going at an angle. I like what they did with the mane and tail here. That's a cool effect. We did lose posability in the head so that they could make the mane and tail look as rainbowy as they did, though. I'm okay with that. Now let's angle this leg down. And now let's angle this one down some more. Now that one's supposed to be a sharper angle, which means, first of all, this section needs to be hanging straight down. I'm going to give it actually a little bit of a... Now this leg, I need to... We lose the dynamic look if this leg happens to be perfectly posed even with the other leg. So I have to try and make this work in an aesthetically pleasing manner. Okay, that's even with the other leg, so I have to put that leg right there. Then maybe if I come in here, will let me do it. Either way you slice it, those two front legs do look kind of dorky. It's a pretty good model design with some poorly designed front legs that don't really look very much horse-like. You know what? Scrap this. We're going to lose a little bit of visibility on the base, but we're going to put all this back where it was for right now. And we're going to take the whole unit. Stick these back feet on the base where they belong. And now, what if I just tried to pose it not in an action pose with them just standing in front of the base? Here's what we're going to do. We're gonna lose some of the dynamic pose here. But I'd rather not have to be posing all night. Now, if I take everything and line up this front paw with the base. It doesn't look right with him. Yeah, no. It's got to be the back legs on the base, and it's got to do that kind of semi-standing position. Okay, then. We're going to tell you what we're going to do, though. We're going to put it on the base, save this unit. We're going to save it as is, and then we're going to try and pose this thing. Alright, so starting with this hinge. No. Okay, these back legs aren't terribly high in the picture. Let me see if I can't go back to the front of the picture, because at this point the model's done. We're just trying to pose it. So those legs are good. Says the body. According to this picture, the body is still at a right angle. This front leg is supposed to be angled parallel to the ground, like that. So pretty much where we were before. The easy leg we're just putting together as is, and then we'll come back to the difficult leg. Tail angles down a little bit. It can actually come down even more. All right, that's a good place for the tail. Now coming back to this side. It's not easy to puzzle out this side from the picture, given it's got the other leg in front of it. But if I take this leg down, it's even with the other leg. I should be able to then have some flex on bringing this leg back some more. If I take this part straight, that's got to be good enough. It's good enough for a render, I think, considering I don't actually own this thing. Now let's pose this. Seahorse is taller. Ducky's going to come along behind here. The seahorse is a little bit taller than Ducky, so we'll bring it off here to kind of they actually have a little bit of the unicorn and the seahorse actually have a little bit of a balancing act going on, whereas Ducky's kind of his own little thing back here. Let's bring them in tight so we can have a closer render. There's final look at this set. How are we doing on time? Oh, an hour 20. You know what? I'm feeling another Lego set. And I had a feeling this one wouldn't take me terribly long, so I actually pre-queued another one in preparation for stream. You know, just in case. Because it's good to be prepared. So, one last look at these Pride guys. that I did earlier. As fun as this set was to put together, as much as I'm thinking about getting the real thing, this would have been a boring stream to watch. You can thank me for not streaming this one, because as cool as this looks, it was a very repetitive build. You can tell by the way it's designed. But yeah, it wouldn't have been a fun watch. Save. And then there. Now they're in a closer line with each other. I like this effect of a rainbow cloud that they've created for the unicorn space. What's going on here? Hold on. Before I consider the models done, there's a part on the seahorse that's not lined up correctly. Let me see if I can't fix that real quick. There. That was an easy fix. That's pretty good. They're all pretty much in line with each other now. If I angle it like this. I want to be able to see. Yeah. That's an appropriate angle for this particular display. So, as I was saying, I pre-queued another set. Let me go ahead and open it up. Let's see, which set was it that I pre-queued? It's a small set from back in the day. Is this the one? Yeah. Switching back to browser for a minute. This is the set that I pulled as a backup. About 15, 20 years ago, somewhere in that range, they did a small Vikings theme. And the monsters in the theme, the Vikings were fighting a bunch of monsters from Norse mythology. And the monsters were built with the similar to the Bionicle figures that were popular back then, with the Technic pieces. And the Vikings themselves were standard minifigures. You'll notice when we actually go into the set that the minifigure does not actually match. A lot of the Vikings pieces are missing from the database, and so I had to pick replacements. So I try to match the face and armor as closely to the theme as possible. But this particular Vikings model loaded all the other pieces. I don't think I'll be able to do any of the other Vikings models in the studio because all the other sets are some variant of dragon, and none of the wing pieces are in the studio. This, however, is the Fenrir Wolf from Norse mythology. So here's a lone Viking warrior trying to fight it. And that's what we're going to build for today. So, let's go ahead and switch back into the studio. Mood Whiplash. I forgot to close these guys. That's alright. Here we are. Blank slate with which to create our Viking battle scene. let's go ahead and get started with this one. So it has me start by building the Viking warrior. And like I said, I had to pick substitute parts for this one. It would help if I went into the correct toolbox. So this guy's colors are all over the place. He's got blue parts, he's got gray parts. You'll also notice that in the studio, a lot of the minifigures I have to attach their arms and hands manually. You'll recall that in actual physical Lego, the arms and hands are attached pre-installed on the torso. So this is not the exact armor that the guy from the set uses. And actually, it doesn't really matter because I didn't realize, but he actually comes with an armor piece which fits over his armor. So you can't see the torso print anyway, so I don't even see why that matters. So he gets a head on top of his armor, and then he gets this Viking helmet. Wow, is that... what color is that? That's a shiny helmet? I was not expecting that. That'd be interesting to render. I did have one Viking set back in the day. It was the smaller of the two boats, which came with a tiny wyvern dragon. But without the wings, I couldn't do it justice in the studio. Alright, why do we have two copies of this guy? I should have one copy open. Every time we bounce back to him, oh, okay, I'm not sure what's going on. But he's actually dual wielding some weapons here. He's got this nice sword in the one hand. And let's go ahead and pose him as if he's already battling the wolf, because that way I won't have to play with him later. And then in his other hand, he's holding an axe. And while there are molded axes, this is one of those two-part axes with, it looks like, the color finish again. So let's go ahead and put that axe on. And now our little Viking warrior is ready for battle. And he doesn't have quite as tough an expression as I was looking for, but this is the face that matched closest to the one I was actually supposed to use, but which didn't exist in the database. So let's put him together now. Wow, there's 14 parts on this minifigure, if you count the weapons and the arms and hands as separate. That's a lot for a minifigure. We'll call him Viking. He came alone in this set. He has to fight the wolf by himself. And now we will create a save file for this. This was set number 7015. Now, let's close. I'm actually going to close and reopen the studio because that glitch is bothering me. I know it doesn't actually mean anything for what we're doing, but it's still bothering me. There we go. Now, we just have the one set open. That's going to be an interesting render to see how those pieces look when we get the photorealistic image. There's only 16 pieces in this instruction. So it looks like he also has a shield platform. And you can see just how few regular pieces there are here, because most of the wolf is built in Technic. So he gets this bionicle shield. It says this is a bionicle piece. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I want all pieces in their proper color. Pearl light gray. So this piece is going to have a bit of shine as well once it renders, because that's what the pearls do. And then it gets a little Technic pin in there. And then it gets a spear poking out the front. So our Viking warrior has a little shield platform which has a spear trap on it. All right. So now we're gonna merge up this. Wait, how's that 5 pieces? Right, okay. We're gonna call this shield. And we're gonna just set this aside till we're ready to pose things. And now we're gonna come back to the front of the model. And we're gonna start our little wolf guy. He starts humbly with this little Technic piece. And then we add a bunch of other Technic pieces to him. I wish they had the dragon wings, because some of the Technic built dragons in this series looked really cool. I really did like the wyvern, but I had to sell out my old collection back in the day, so. Is this the piece I'm looking for? I hope this is the piece I'm looking for. All right, where is there that piece? Which piece is that? Okay, I didn't even know that piece was available in brown. Oh, these aren't, I'm not supposed to be using the really long one. Sometimes, depending on the scan quality of the PDFs, it's hard to tell the exact color of the pieces that you're supposed to be working with. But the toolbox is a great help in that regard. Wait, what am I? Did I miss a piece somewhere? I did miss a piece somewhere. All right. I did not orient that correctly. Now it should be fixed. Yeah, now that looks correct. Good old classic Technic connect spacers here. And then what am I supposed to be doing here? Okay. That's actually supposed to go like that. It was facing the wrong way. We're actually positioned incorrectly. And then I need this. I'm hoping that this is the correct piece because the instructions aren't terribly clear. And bring this unit onto here. One thing they did a lot of back in the day when Bionicle was still fresh is they did a lot of experimentation with using the Technic pieces for making mecha and animals that were posable. They still do that to a degree, but there's not as much Technic involved. Okay, so I need another one of these now. And then another one of these. Which was it? Oh, in terms of my previous LEGO streams, where you saw me do a couple of the city sets and architecture, I counted and there's actually 13 different city skylines. And I'm going to do all of them as kind of a sub-theme of virtual LEGO on this channel, but I'm trying to space them out a bit. That's why I didn't do one tonight. I wanted to do New York next, but I think it's more fitting for personal reasons to do New York at the end of the month. But since I did 2 European cities already, I kind of want to do my next city. For a little variety, I want to have my next city either be outside of Europe, one of the American or Asian cities. Okay, I need to build 4 of this leg unit. Wait a minute, did I miss a whole step somewhere? I did. Because I'm talking too much. Missing steps is what happens when I talk too much while trying to do Lego. So it looks like we're actually building the wolf upside down because these look like they're going to be the legs. And I can tell from the next step they're definitely going to be the legs. So there's too much of this one left over, so push it in. I want to see if I can't get this to be flush with the end. It's good enough. It's good enough. So now we're going to build, we got to build these leg units. So because these leg units are being built the same way, I'm going to build these off to the side. Interesting. They're using Star Wars battle droid pieces for these leg units. So yeah, we have a little hint of Lego Star Wars today, even though we're not actually doing one. There we go. Here's a whole leg. All right, now I'm trying to see which way is up because there is a subtle difference on these things. And I think I see it now, so actually I want to have these pointing up first. All right. Now that they're pointing in roughly the correct direction, I can now start inserting the legs. And I'm not worried if the rotation is not quite correct. We can pose him when we finish. And with that, the legs are in. And now we have to build feet. Because what leg is complete unless it has a foot at the end of it? It's interesting how they use these little clip pieces to represent his claws. And we need 4 of those, obviously. And now we turn the whole monster around so he's standing up. And now I need another axle piece, it looks like, to go into his shoulder. And in real Technic, you wouldn't push it in all the way till you put in all the stuff that goes between, because otherwise you physically couldn't get it in. But in the studio, you can put the bar exactly where it needs to go and then put the pieces on, which is a lot easier to work with. And now we see a trick that we see in Bionicle. The Technic core with the detailed bio bit at the end. I should know, I did a few Bionicle figures the other day off stream. So there's there's the head, and I'm supposed to put it upside down so I can work on the inside of his mouth. So I'm supposed to put this little Technic axle in his mouth like this, which will allow me to then slide this onto him. And that's an interesting use of the red Technic axle to make an evil-looking monster eye. That's a very clever use of the axle, actually. That just makes sure his eye is even on both sides, or as even as possible. And I am going to call stream after this model just because it is starting to get late. And I have to process the video tonight before I go to bed because I have things I need to do tomorrow. So if I want to have it on the YouTube on time, then I need to process video tonight. And he also gets teeth because he's a scary god wolf. And now he gets to be flipped around upright. And just like the unicorn, he gets these tooth pieces for ears. So yeah, vicious, evil god wolves and cute, cartoony unicorn friends do have something in common. They both get tooth pieces for ears because it's the perfect shape for them, for wolves and unicorns alike. Yeah, that looks good. You know what? I'm not going to worry too much about posing this thing. Oh wait, when did he get a tail piece? Oh, just in that final step. Oh, he also gets a big back piece that I completely forgot about. How does the back piece even connect? Am I missing something here? The back piece connected last step by way of this gray rod here. All right, let's see if I can't make a little more room for this guy. Because the back piece is supposed to connect via the gray rod. There we go. And that hides some of the inner technic workings as well, which is clever bit of design. And then he gets this, there's supposed to be 2 gemstones in the scene as well. But let's go ahead and push his tail into the back like that. That did not connect. All right, there's 2 holes on the back. Where is the tail supposed to go? I totally missed something somewhere. Yeah, I totally missed something somewhere. All right, hold on. Let's open them up. Okay, that's what the inside looks like. There's supposed to be a hole coming off the back. Is there? Unless I posed something incorrectly. So there's the black bit, then there's the gray bit. Oh, I see what I missed. This missing piece here, this piece that was still in the toolbox, should have been a giveaway clue, but it wasn't. That's supposed to go there. And from there, then I can insert the tail. So yeah. Now the wolf is done. I like this design. I wish we could do the dragons in the studio. You know what? How are we on time? 2 hours. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and call it. I was thinking about maybe throwing in the boat, but then I need to go and find more matching Viking armors, and the dragon wouldn't exactly have his wings. So I could have made a whole battle scene, but I'm not going to. So we're going to call him Wolf, and we're going to pose a little battle scene. And that one Technic brick still in the toolbox is because there are certain pieces that there's different versions of in the database. So the studio loads both. So we're gonna put the wolf facing the Viking warrior. We're gonna place the warrior behind his shield. We're gonna raise his arm so that the axe does not bleed with the shield. Okay, I have no idea what's... It's not letting me turn it. You know what, let's turn collision off to rotate his arm. What does... Wow. Yeah, it doesn't look likely he'll be able to fight very effectively with those weapons with his shield in the way. And then there's like these two little gemstones here that he's trying to guard. And given how the gemstones have a center of gravity, I'm gonna place them in front of him like this. I guess the wolf is interested in his gems. I kind of want to show the shield. I'm trying to figure out how to pose this so I have the most detail possible. If I do it from a bit of an overhead, we can probably get his face in there a little bit. But really, I think that's a good angle for him to show as much of the Viking as possible. And then the wolf, I'm actually going to rotate the wolf at an angle I don't generally use for posing, for purposes of showing as much of the wolf as possible. And let's angle down the head a little bit. Oh, the ears weren't all the way attached, which explains why this wasn't working properly. Now let's put his ears back on. And actually, I like the ears being slightly angled like this. So we had said that this was an appropriate enough angle to show the Viking. And that's a good enough angle to show the wolf. And we're going to go ahead and call this one done. And to leave you on a pretty picture while I figure out today's raid, I am going to go back to this one. Or would you rather see the Viking? I still have to render both these images before I go to bed, so yeah, but yeah, the unicorn was the model I specifically called out in the stream description title today. So this is the pretty image I'll leave you on while I go to look for a raid. There's a lot of people online tonight, but most of them are not music. We're going to raid Taryn today. Taryn Seattle. She's a good show. I think you'll enjoy her. Oh, and my favorite Twitch musician, who's been gone for a year working on a cruise ship, is finally coming home before the end of the month. So that's going to be exciting to look forward to as well. All right, have a good night, everyone. Forward to as well.
Alright, well that was a thing that we made. I don't know how much I liked that, but that's a thing. Uncle Evie, welcome in! And Kathleen! Oh my god!